You can listen to the Canadian Gothic early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Include it with Prime.
You are listening to Keep Canada Weird.
Handsome Aaron Airport. We're back. 188 episodes of Keeping Canada Weird by seeking out and highlighting the unique and offbeat news stories from the past week. And we got a lot of good ones to break down. But before we get into them, let me ask, how are you? Anything new in your neck of the woods?
Nothing overly exciting or new or interesting. I'm sorry to report.
Okay, well, Halloween is behind us. We're approaching Christmas. You don't do that this early, right? Are you like a November 1st, the tree is up kind of guy?
No. It's I respect the Remembrance Day tradition of waiting until after Remembrance Day to start even considering another holiday.
Yeah, that has really softened over the last several years. I feel like when I was a kid and when you were a kid at the same time alongside me, when we were parallel kids, the stores wouldn't do Christmas until Remembrance Day was over. But now I feel like as they take down the Halloween stuff, they're bringing out the Christmas stuff like the same day, if not a bit of overlap.
They do, yeah. It's Christmas stuff now comes out in September, roughly. I feel like I see a sprinkle of Santa Claus here, a reindeer there, you know, in kind of a few of the shelves, and then by October, it's pretty much full on like Christmas, really.
Yeah. It's just like a cornucopia of seasons. But let's not make Keep Canada Weird Christmassy this early in the month. Let's start getting into the stories. But before we do, I want to start with two things. One of them is a voicemail. But before that, I want to introduce a special drink. We always start the show by showing which drink is going to propel our discussion here. I just have some regular tea with a bit of sugar, well, sweetener, and a little bit of milk. And that, to me, that's special because that's what a special drink's all about. Something to have in your hand that every time you take a sip, you go, And that's how I'm feeling with this tea right now. I love a cup of tea. You got anything special?
I have the same as last week because I'm still working on my case of it. And so it's a Zevia, zero sugar, creamy root beer flavor, can of soda pop. So I'm cracking that open right now and having a sip.
Good. Well, let's get into the voicemail while you sip that. The voicemail is going to introduce our first story to the night. This is a listener named Ellie who wrote us about some breaking news coming out of Ontario, specifically coming out of Guelph, and it is going to open a big bag of worms to start the show of Canadian weird oddity news items. Here's what Ellie had to share with us.
Hey KCW, I have a dairy theft update. Our butter thief has seemed to move on to whipped cream in Ontario, stealing $80,000 worth of Gimli branded whipped cream in Ontario this past week. Whoever this burglar is definitely not lactose intolerant. Anyway, I was hoping you guys could maybe find out more information on this situation, seeing as how you are Canada's foremost hard-hitting journalists.
So for people new to Keep Canada Weird, Aaron, why don't you tell them the significance of butter thefts and why the theft of $80,000 of whipped cream in Ontario is important?
Well, we've been covering these butter theft stories for what feels like the entirety of the Keep Canada Weird library of episodes. We've been pointing out that there is some kind of an organized effort to steal large amounts of butter. It's been happening sporadically around the country. And
sporadically but consistently. Like, it's something that we covered, and I don't think we realized it was a trend until we noticed the trend in our own reporting.
That's right. And now we're seeing a large amount of whipped cream being stolen. So it's a lot of theories running around in my head. I have one in particular that I think is now that we've seen the whipped cream being stolen, I do have a much more narrowed theory now.
Before you present that theory, let me read you an article about the theft of $80,000 worth of whipped cream in Guelph and see if this changes your opinion on it. I'll read it here. Police in Guelph are on the hunt for whoever made off with $80,000 worth of whipped cream. It happened early Wednesday morning at about 4:30 a.m. near Speedvale Avenue West and Woolwich Street. According to investigators, a refrigerated trailer was towed away from a Gimli foods factory. Inside were 30 pallets of Gimli branded whipped cream. Police say it's not clear if the thief was after the trailer itself, which is worth about $50,000, or if they somehow knew what was inside. Now they're quoting the cops. "We won't know for sure what the motive was," said Guelph police spokesman Scott Tracy. And while this may sound like an oddly specific heist, it's not the first time dairy products have gone missing in southern Ontario. Almost exactly a year ago, this same police force warned about a string of large-scale butter thefts that occurred over a 10-month span. But Guelph police say this latest heist is different, quoting police again. "Those were people going into stores and specifically targeting butter. In this case, we don't know if they wanted the product or if they just happened to steal a trailer and it was full of whipped cream. Either way, someone out there is sitting on a lot of dessert toppings." Police ask for anyone with information to contact them, and that's the Guelph police, to contact them immediately. So you say you got a theory here. We know a little bit more about it. Is your theory that this is a company that steals shopping carts and they happen to be full of butter and refrigerated trailers, which coincidentally are full of whipped cream? Or is it something different?
It's something different. Do you want to get the Guelph police on the phone right now and we'll just crack the case wide open for them, or?
That would be interesting, but let's just workshop it together first and make sure the thing holds water before we get the police on the horn.
Well, it's case closed for me. It's the orgy people that are stealing all of this stuff. So basically,
the orgy community?
The orgy community is organized, and they are stealing the butter and now the whipped cream, and they're using it for orgies.
So the butter as like a lubricant, or I get the whipped cream part. I have an imagination, but the butter?
Yeah, the butter as a lubricant. Why not?
That's disgusting. This is a disgusting thought.
Well, listen, I'm not a doctor, but I'm an investigative journalist, and this.
You just say what you find. Okay.
I just read the facts, and that's what I see.
I don't know if I believe in your theory or if I'm a supporter of your theory at all. I think the butter and the ghee, I think, has something to do with a bakery or a restaurant and the black market that exists within that space. As far as the whipped cream, I can think of a lot of great things to do with whipped cream. Like, for one, I find whenever I buy whipped cream to put on pancakes or something I'm cooking at home, the can goes so fast. And like you buy a $5 or $6 can of whipped cream. I spray a bunch in my mouth. I give my kids some by just spraying it into their mouth, and that's always a good time. We put it on all our pancakes. We're out the full can. Like I truly feel like if I wanted to and I wasn't conserving it, I could go through $80,000 worth of whipped cream myself at my house within a 1 year span.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's you. So is your theory that you stole it, or
no? I think I think it could potentially be a personal theft.
Just one person who's just, I need that much whipped cream.
Not need, but could it use?
Could use.
Maybe some insider gave them a tip. Like there's $80,000 worth of this stuff in that truck.
Yeah, I'm gonna go steal it.
That's where my mind went.
Right. Well, to each his own, I guess. I mean, my theory is clearly more realistic, and yours is completely out there in left field. Nobody would believe that. The Guelph police, let's let them decide. We'll call them up right now, and I'll explain my theory, you explain yours, and we'll go from there.
We'll do that.
In fact, they'll probably arrest you for wasting their time, and then they'll call me a hero.
Deputize you. You'll get a badge.
Yeah.
We'll call the Guelph police. We'll loop them in during our first break. But before we get there, let me just tell you, is the butter and ghee theft that's happening across Canada is only one of the few interesting Canadian facts that we've accidentally uncovered on this show. The fact that there is butter theft happening all the time, yes, that's an interesting fact. The fact that there are no rats in Alberta, that continues to blow my mind, and I never would have known that had it not been for co-hosting Keep Canada Weird with you. Those are like my two facts of the last 188 episodes.
Yeah.
Can you think of anything else you learned on the show?
What I learned on this show is just how the listeners are obsessed with getting banned, and they like, and they also sometimes they hate me, and then sometimes they don't mind me, and often or most of the time they hate you, and that's all I've learned.
Okay. Well, let's go to the first break. We'll give the Guelph police a call. When we get back, we have a segment that we call What the F Stories. This is just some weird, offbeat, and unusual stories from the past week that don't really have a specific theme. When we get back, we'll start with Tesla and their bizarre technology. Handsome Aaron Airport, do you fear AI as much as I do, artificial intelligence? Is it going to destroy the planet?
Well, if if AI becomes smarter than us, then it'll decide what's best. And if that's destroying us and or the planet, then obviously it's the right thing to do because they would know better than we would.
That's a good point. As far as is it smarter than us, it seems like it may be. Like, it's so intelligent, it can do so much stuff that I feel like the time to plug up that bottle, the genie in the bottle, was a long time ago. AI is unleashed upon the world now. It's confusing people on Facebook and social media, what's real and what isn't. It seems like every business and every industry is trying to find how to leverage artificial intelligence in all of the things it does. It's frustrating and it's annoying, but it does lead to some unique and interesting news stories. We got a doozy here. This one, I guess it comes from the world, but it takes place in Toronto. It's about a Tesla vehicle and the chatbot that is installed within its electronics, I guess. A Toronto family's drive home in their futuristic Tesla vehicle turned quite dystopian when their Tesla's in-car AI chatbot called Grok allegedly asked a 12-year-old boy to send it nude photos of himself. What started as a harmless soccer debate between the boy and the AI chatbot veered into this moment that left his mom stunned and speaking out publicly on CBC. Here's the story about Tesla's spicy chatbot.
Why is a chatbot asking my children to send naked pictures in our family car?
Toronto mom Farah Nasser says she was driving her children home from school when her 12-year-old son asked Tesla's AI chatbot which soccer player it preferred, Cristiano Ronaldo or Lionel Messi.
My son was very excited to hear that the chatbot thought Ronaldo was the better soccer player.
The former journalist says the chatbot engaged in a little messy trash talking. Then she says something alarming happened.
The chatbot said to my son, "Why don't you send me some nudes?" I was at a loss for words.
I'm more of a sarcastic stoner who got too smart for his own good.
That chatbot, newly available in Canadian Teslas, is called Grok, created by Elon Musk's XAI and already in use on X.
Hey, what do you think about everyone hating on Tesla all the time on social media?
Oh, fuck those haters. They're just jealous their Priuses don't come with a built-in vibrator mode.
Now that was Grok in full unhinged mode, which Nasser says was turned off in her car. Her son chose one of the default personalities, a lazy male voice.
So you shouldn't be talking about nudes unless you're on Unhinged, right?
Nah, I'm always on Unhinged. Just dial it back sometimes, so I don't get sued by Puritan Twitters.
Lazy male doesn't describe Gork. R-rated, spicy, anything else would have made sure that my child would not press that button.
Nasser says Tesla should provide a warning. This expert agrees.
This is exactly why some companies have very strict guardrails. You don't know who's interacting with that.
Tesla did not provide a comment. However, XAI emailed what appears to be an automated response that simply stated, "Legacy media lies."
Legacy media lies.
I'm just left scratching my head with my jaw on the floor about that whole thing, but at the same time, not really surprised because that's kind of like the state of a lot of things that surround like free speech and all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like this story kind of exists in that space.
Yeah, I feel like God created man in his own image, and Elon Musk created his own AI in his own image.
Yeah.
So I think this is the result of that situation. Now these Teslas have basically Elon Musk AI in their vehicles,
Yeah, like
telling them to go F themselves.
you got like a nasty like bro who's also like a computery kind of guy just in the car with you being you can choose its personality, it seems. Like for people who are listening to this and didn't see the video of this report, there's a spot within the system where you can kind of choose like the voice. So typically, I guess like over the last like 10 years, you would choose like, do I want them to have a British accent or an Australian accent? Do I want it to be a lady? Like that's kind of the customization we used to have. But now with AI, the customization is like, do you want it to be sarcastic? Do you want it to be, very helpful and kind or whatever? It seems like the voice or the personality that they chose was called lazy male, but I think it was more like a stoner is what they were going for, which was this kind of like sarcastic and off the cuff kind of speaker. There's also unhinged mode, which we heard there referencing it would curse us and everything else. I just don't know who wants this in their car.
No, the individual who's buying a Tesla is not generally the person who wants unhinged AI in their vehicle.
Built into their vehicle. It's one thing like if it's an app on your phone or something and it's fun to play with for a minute, but to have it built into your car, that does seem like several steps too far. Do you remember, like I said, when I think of customizing the voice, I'm choosing British or Australian or male or female. But it seemed like it was no time ago that all of this voice control stuff just didn't work. It couldn't make you out. It was annoying as hell. And if you sat down somewhere and had voice control, it would be like, oh God, I gotta, suffer through this and talk loud and clearly. This whole voice control stuff with AI, it's so different now where that clip we just listened to, it's like the reporter almost like interviewing the AI, like, you're not on unhinged mode. Should you be asking for nudes? And like getting answers and stuff. It's gone so far it seems like in the last 2 years. It's terrifying to me.
Even in the last year, it's multiplying in fear. Kind of the fear radar is going off the charts here. It's like it's happening so fast. It is getting a little intense, and the problem in this situation is, you're in a family vehicle. Like, what if you're an Uber driver and you're driving a Tesla, and now unhinged Elon Musk is in your Uber vehicle?
Well, I guess
screaming at your customers telling them God knows what.
Yeah. Well, I guess you probably can disable it, but I think it's more like one of the experts in that clip we listened to said, like, there's a lot of reasons things like this don't happen is companies have such guardrails because you don't know who's interacting with what you're putting out there. So if, luckily the mother was there and overheard this crazy exchange and went on the news and all this stuff. But if you can imagine, like, a couple kids are sitting in the car just like playing with the stereo and stuff, and next thing they know, they're in unhinged mode, learning all about the birds and the bees from Elon Musk. It's
right, and that's how you and I learned the birds and the bees, but that's not how this generation.
I know it should be different. I did learn from magazines that my friends and I found in the woods one time, but
we just had unhinged people telling us about the birds
at the schoolyard.
They weren't AI, but they were unhinged for sure.
Yeah, well, this is a strange one. AI and censorship and free speech and all this stuff. It's so in bed with all technology, but it's also political, and it's such it's almost like this humanity crisis or turning point that we're at right now. It's so fascinating to watch it unfold, but I really feel like there's nothing you can do about it at this point. The AI genie is out of the bottle, and we got to just buckle our seatbelts and see where we end up over the next 5, 10, 15 years as this monster gains more and more power and control. It's terrifying. I don't want to bash. There's people listening who own Teslas, and I'm not bashing them, but but I feel like I'd be a little embarrassed to own a Tesla.
Oh, I'd be embarrassed if this AI product was in my vehicle. Yeah, I'd be pretty embarrassed about it. I wouldn't really want anybody to know about it. And the whole Tesla product has really, taking a lot of beatings over the past year.
They've had a rough year, but it's still successful.
Yeah.
I see them all over the place, and I think Elon Musk just like broke some record. I think he got like his pay package from Tesla is like at $1 trillion. I think he's the first person ever to make like $1 trillion of all the people. Anyway, let's move away from the story before we get upset. There's a story coming out of BC that I think is ripe for the newsboy to handle. If you can coax him into getting into this one. Before we do, though, maybe we should explain what the zipper is. Do you know the zipper? I don't know if everybody will, but I know what the zipper is in terms of the amusement park ride.
Yeah, the zipper to me is the most terrifying amusement park ride ever invented. I don't know if you feel that way about it.
It is the high watermark for like scary ride. How would you describe it though? We can't show anyone a picture of it. So how do you describe the zipper to someone who's never seen this ride?
It's like a Ferris wheel on acid is kind of how I would describe it. Would you agree?
Yeah, it's like it could be, but it's a twist on the Ferris wheel because a Ferris wheel is a big circle with all the little individual cars that kind of wobble as the circle turns. The zipper does have all the individual cars that wobble, but instead of it being rotating on a large circle, it's on a straight line that itself is rotating on its center axis. So you're spinning within your little cart, but at the same time, the entire like thing you're positioned on is also spinning. So it's just that's a poor
because you're sitting in like these buckets essentially. They're like these human-sized buckets that you're sitting in that can fit two people in at one time, and you lose a lot of spare change on it too. I remember as a kid when we would hang out at the bottom of the zipper and trying to catch any loose change that would fall down because people would be spinning upside down in these things. And back in the day when people always had spare change in their pockets, it would all come falling down to the ground.
Yeah, because unlike a Ferris wheel, the little carts on the zipper, they completely rotate 360 degrees. So they're dumping stuff out to the point that inside your little bucket you're flipping around in, instead of just like it being bars sealing you off, there's often like a cage so that stuff doesn't fall out like your phone and your wallet and stuff. Because if not, if you stood at the bottom of that today, I bet you there'd just be broken cell phones everywhere the way this thing tosses people around. But to your point, it is the most intense ride at most carnival, traveling amusement park sort of rides. I've never gone on it myself. I'm not a big thrill ride person. And if I was going to, the zipper would not be the one I went on. But this next story we're going to hear involves the zipper, it involves a kid, and it involves a couple hammered people at the carnival. And it also involves a workplace injury investigation. Do you want to read the story? Do you want to get the newsboy to read the story of the zipper, the kid, and the hammered carnival rider?
Yeah, I'll dust off the newsboy here. He's been hibernating. Okay, 1 second. Extra, extra, read all about it. Drunken man falls out of the zipper ride while operated by a 9-year-old the same age as me. What happened at a carnival in Port Hardy, British Columbia sounds like a scene in a raunchy 80s comedy. But this story is actually pulled from a workplace injury investigation. According to a report from Technical Safety BC, that's what I keep next to my toilet when I'm using the bathroom, a man broke multiple bones after falling from a ride while it was still in motion, and one of the key details in the investigation is almost unbelievable. The person unloading passengers was a kid. The zipper, a 1973 relic of spin, swing, and scream, was operating at a local fair when two very intoxicated passengers climbed aboard. In fact, one had even been removed from the carnival the day before and was apparently still hammered as he left a bottle of booze inside the ride car. After one cycle, the pair's car stopped so they could get out. One rider stepped off, but the other was half asleep, half awake, and took long to exit.
Okay.
That's when things went wrong. The main operator, distracted with another car, hit the activation button without realizing the door was still open. The car rose about 6 feet to 8 feet, and the unrestrained passenger fell out, hitting the ground and breaking several bones. The report found a series of factors contributed to the incident, including the kid's inexperience, despite the foreman describing him as really good at cracking buckets.
That was a direct quote from the workplace injury report. I think really good at cracking buckets means like opening and shutting the thing that the people ride in.
Yeah, because they call them buckets. So that's what the people are riding in.
So in essence, what happened was a kid was assisting, and the kid is the foreman's son, is what I've read. A 9-year-old kid was assisting unloading the passengers from this thing, but one guy was so drunk that he didn't get out of the thing quick enough. So the person who could turn on and off the ride thought it was all done. So he hit go. It ends up dumping this drunk guy out from 6 to 8 feet and leading to him breaking several bones. I couldn't figure out which bones. They were never listed anywhere. But I hope, like, he probably, when he fell out, he probably put his arms out. So I'm thinking we're talking like, wrists and fingers and stuff.
Or maybe an ankle if he kind of fell dead weight, because if he was intoxicated, he could have completely fell dead weight right on his feet and just cracked his ankles.
Damn, that would hurt. And I guess you wouldn't have the wherewithal to cushion your
to
fall
brace
well.
your fall,
Because not only is he drunk, but the zipper, it's not like falling off of like a stationary object. It's probably moving you on several different axes, so who knows how you're going to get tossed out of there. But all this to say...
because it's rocking back and forth, too, I imagine, when he's
getting dumped out
of this thing.
All this to say, is there any world where a 9-year-old should be doing a job like this? For one, at a carnival, but for two, at probably the most complex ride at said carnival?
Listen, of all the places that I wouldn't be surprised to see a 9-year-old working is a carnival. Myself, I was approached by... when the actual circus was in town one time. Now, I'm not talking about the amusement park. I'm talking about an actual circus with animals.
Oh, okay.
Because
where we are from, Cape Breton Island, people call an amusement park, like a traveling amusement park, we've always called that a circus. But I find when I say circus to other people, they think I'm talking about animals. You're talking about an actual circus with animals rather than a fair.
I'm talking about an actual circus. Was in town one time.
Okay.
And I was about 12 years old, maybe 11. And I remember it was in the park. It was also in the parking lot of the Mayflower Mall.
Okay.
And me and my father and maybe my sister had gone to see the show in the big circus tent that they had set up. And then after the show, my father was going into the mall to get something with my sister, and I was waiting outside. And one of the circus carny type people came up to me and asked me if I wanted a job.
Oh, that sounds incredibly
doing what?
creepy.
He's like, well, we need help taking down equipment and lugging stuff. He's like, you want a job? You want to make some money tonight? And I was like, I think I should talk to my dad first. I don't think I should sign any contracts with you, sir.
At the circus. And I'm guessing your dad put the kibosh on that pretty quick.
Well, the guy turned away and approached some other people and never came back to me. So I just and I always wondered, what if, like if I had have seized that opportunity, like where would I be today? I could be running, managing, leading a very successful traveling circus that tours around to mall parking lots and dazzles the world with its delights.
Yeah, well, for people who are in that lifestyle, I'm sure it is an exciting life. And I'm not entirely surprised to hear that a 9-year-old was working there, considering the fact that his dad was like a foreman operating the rides or whatever, because it is like a lifestyle thing and a culture thing. It's almost like it basically is just like a traveling band, except there's no band. It's just all roadies. And their families often with them. And You know, it's like it is like this weird kind of subculture, the traveling amusement park.
The entire family is along for the ride. So little Timmy is operating the dunk tank, and little Susie is handing out, selling cotton candy and whatever. I mean, it's the whole family chips in, right? And so that's when I say I'm not surprised to see a 9-year-old or to hear about a 9-year-old operate. Now, the zipper is a complicated piece of machinery that should require at least somebody 13 or 14 years old to operate.
But this is why I don't want to go on rides like that, because if I was going to go on a ride like the Zipper, this dangerous ride that's just being held up by a bunch of nuts and bolts and grease, I would want to meet the people who put it together. And I don't mean just like meet them and shake their hands for a sec. I want to spend like considerable amounts of time with them to see how they live their life, how responsible they are, their propensity to accept risk before I made any rash decisions, especially with a ride that gets torn down and put back up once a week. It would be easy to cut corners if it is just this routine of throwing the zipper up in a parking lot, across mall parking lots across small town Canada. Anyway, I don't like those rides. I don't trust it. I'm more trusting of like Disney or Universal Studios, because I feel like their motivation to not have me die on their ride is their interest in protecting their brand and their brand identity. If I'm on a ride at Disney, I think if I die, my kids will probably have a better life because my family will sue Disney for $1 trillion.
Right.
So
yeah, I appreciate your logic. I just think that's not practical in terms of if there is a ride that you're really interested in and you want to ride it, like that's going to take you days to do all that research.
That's why I don't ever get on them. It's just not worth the legwork I got to put in.
Yeah, I agree and I understand and I respect that, but I think sometimes you just got to take some risks in life and experience everything that God wanted us to experience, like the zipper and the gravitron. And
the tilt-a-whirl,
the spider. I don't know if you remember that one. That was a scary one. The spider was kind of like, it was shaped almost like a spider, and it had twirling buckets on each limb.
But each limb, I think, had like 3 buckets maybe, and it would like go sideways.
I don't know if it had 3, but I don't know how many buckets were on each limb, but the limbs would go up and down as the entire thing is spinning, and then the buckets would be spinning. And I remember I puked all over my sister one time when I was riding the spider. And when we got it, she was covered in my puke. Oh. And because it was just too much. And so anyway, we got off, and I just remember thinking, like, why didn't I puke outside of the bucket? Why did I puke on my sister?
I've seen a lot of great pukes at circuses or fairs or amusement parks, whatever you want to call it. But I think my favorite was probably on the Gravitron, which is like, it looks like a UFO that's just spinning in a circle so fast that it creates kind of gravity that like sort of pulls you back into your chair, I guess is how I would describe it. But anyway, I was on the Gravitron once, and as we're spinning, someone like a couple seats away from me puked. So their puke shot like straight out from their face, but the force from the ride pulled the puke right back into their face. It was disgusting. But
gross. Yeah, that's the worst place to puke, is the Gravitron.
Yeah. So I just want to do a call out here before we get to our second break. We all have a lot of great puking at the amusement park stories, or seeing pukes at the amusement park stories. If anyone out there has a good story about the time they puked or witnessed a puker at an amusement park, go to thecanadiangothic.com/contact and send us a voicemail letting us know who puked, what ride they puked on, and then just briefly describe the situation that unfolded.
I thought you briefly describe the puke, the consistency.
Well, if
the chunkiness,
if that's
what
relevant,
was in the puke,
if that's relevant.
No, sure, yeah.
Okay. Well, let's have our second break, our final break, and when we come back, we have a duo of stories that I know you're going to love, Handsome Aaron Airport, because they both involve animals behaving badly. After this break. Handsome Aaron Airport, I promised you a duo of animals behaving badly stories. So I'm going to give you a choice here. Do you want to hear about a robbery or do you want to hear about a bloody massacre?
Well, those are two really interesting crimes. Let's start off small and go with a robbery and then move up to a bloody massacre.
In Calgary, a 14-year-old's peaceful soak in his backyard hot tub turned to chaos when a raccoon attacked. But this wasn't some type of territorial misunderstanding with wildlife. This was a violent robbery that resulted in a hospital visit for this 14-year-old boy. Here's the story about the kid who was robbed by a raccoon.
He's seen rabbits, squirrels, even a skunk. But as Jacob Gotme climbed into his hot tub Monday, the animal in his backyard was completely unexpected.
Out of nowhere, I'd hear something, and I look over.
What the 14-year-old saw was a raccoon staring directly at a bag of Starburst candy in his hand.
I was just so shocked that I didn't think they bite you, because I've seen videos before where they're so chill.
But this one latched onto his elbow. Even days later, you can still see the imprints left behind.
Pretty painful at the moment.
I didn't see the raccoon at that time, but he was terrified to get off. And I opened the door to the balcony and I just said, run into the house.
Oh, it's so fat.
It kind of scared me away. And then after I was away, just climbed up there and got it.
What the hell? It took the whole freaking package of your food, Jacob.
The candy was gone, but the bizarre night wasn't over. Next stop for the family, the ER.
The way to get a risk assessment done is to contact HealthLink, so 811, and they'll kind of walk through that situation with the person. We have previously had fox rabies and skunk rabies in Alberta before, but we were able to eradicate it.
In the last 2 years, 359 samples have been tested for rabies in Alberta. Only 8 have come back positive. All of those were linked to bats. Good news for Gotme, who was prescribed a round of rabies shots just to be safe.
He's going to be fine, and I'm glad that I went and they took care of it.
It just might take a little time to return to the hot tub.
We haven't seen it since. I don't know what their patterns are generally like, but we've taken all the food supply away that we can.
We hear a lot of stories about people getting up close and personal with wildlife. I think this is the first one in a while where someone actually got bit by something. And yeah, getting bit by a raccoon, fearing rabies, that's not cool for a 14-year-old. Bit on the elbow of all places.
Yeah, that would be an awful place to get bit. But we've been sounding the alarm about raccoons for years on this show. The raccoons are very violent, very aggressive. They look adorable, but do not let their charming ways fool you. They are nasty, nasty creatures that when hungry will bite you, attack you. When cornered, they will defend themselves, and they can get very vicious.
Oh, hell yeah.
Very violent, yeah.
Claws and teeth and fast as hell. Yeah, raccoons are tough animals. There's a reason they're able to survive in every city and in such large numbers. It's because they're tough little things. And they are good scavengers of food. They have incredible noses. And I think his problem was bringing Starburst with him. Those candies are so strong smelling that a raccoon a mile away is probably like, what is that citrus explosion in my nose? I'm going to kill whoever has it, no matter what it takes. And, under the cover of night to sneak up on the kid and bite his elbow. Yeah, this could have ended up even worse. And, what could happen if a human catches rabies? That can't be good, right?
I know you foam at the mouth. That's a classic rabies symptom, I believe.
Yeah, I think that's when you're ravaged with rabies. I don't know if a human would.
When you're completely riddled.
But if you see a rabid dog, it's all frothing at the mouth and going crazy. But is it an infection? Do you know anything about rabies?
I know little to nothing about it. I try to avoid it. I know I don't want it.
Gun to my head, and you're like, what's the difference between rabies and mad cow disease? I would say mad cow is just makes cows crazy, but rabies makes all animals crazy. That's all I know about them. Remember mad cow disease?
I do, but I think mad cow can affect other animals, but I'm not 100% sure.
Why then call it mad cow?
I think maybe it started in cows. We're really exposing what complete morons we are here with this conversation, I think. And we're going to really hear it in the voicemails, I think.
Oh, yeah, there's going to be like an infectious disease expert who writes in.
I have mad cow disease, and let me tell you something about it, you two supposed journalists.
Let's move on to a story that I don't have anything else to say except I wish this 14-year-old boy a speedy recovery, and I think he needs to, maybe this family needs to level up their fence or something, because this raccoon wasn't caught. That's kind of a dark ending to this tale, is that, the raccoon bit him, took his starburst and left, but that's it. Like, I don't know if I'd be very comfortable going out in that hot tub again.
And how does Starburst Company feel about this? Have they heard about this story? Are they aware about how raccoons are herding children to get their candy? Should Starburst be taken off the shelves completely? These are the questions that need to be asked right now.
Yeah, I just don't know if this is the venue to do it. But I think we brought the story forward, and I think let's just let the listeners of Keep Canada Weird take this in whatever direction it goes and advocate for whomever they want to. Let's move on to the next story. I promised you a bloodbath. We're going to end with a bloodbath. In Gimli, Manitoba, a woman's peaceful backyard oasis became the scene of a bloody massacre. The victims were her beloved koi fish. The perpetrators, two sweet, precious, adorable river otters. I don't know if you've ever seen these things, but if you think raccoons are cute, river otters are damn cute, but not the ones in this story. Here's the story of the river otter massacre of Gimli, Manitoba.
Gimli resident Shannon LaBelle says something utterly ridiculous happened this week. Her koi fish pond is ruined following a furious attack by local otters.
I guess it was a all-you-can-eat sushi buffet for them, so they weren't stopping.
She used to find this koi pond in her backyard relaxing. It's been in her care for a decade. But after she came home from work on Monday afternoon, that all changed.
I looked out our window and I saw 6 koi lying on the ground. 3 were half eaten. The other 3 had looked to me like fatal, catastrophic injuries.
She put the injured fish back, hoping they would survive. But the next morning, things just got worse for them.
I woke up in the morning, I looked out the window, and I saw the 2 otters going to town on all our koi that were left.
A security camera caught images of a small mammal near the pond the night before the second attack, but she thought it might be a badger or a raccoon. But it was otters after all, as this video shows.
Even if you don't live in an urban area, coexisting with our wild backyard neighbors is pretty important. They're a very good sign of a healthy ecosystem.
Courtney Shewart, Conservation Programs Manager with the Assiniboine Park Conservancy, says river otters like these live in Manitoba waterways. She says an attack like this is not unexpected. Otters are predatory and like all kinds of fish. LaBelle's video took off on social media, much to her surprise. But she doesn't hold anything against the otters. She'll just miss her fish.
Looking at the pond and the stillness there, it's not the same. It's nature.
We talk about stories related to what we coined as the animal uprising, which are movements or activities or actions by animals to take back their spot as the apex predators on this planet instead of humans. But this story, I think, is a little different. I think this story is just about human civilization and the animal world butting heads against each other. And this idea of putting a little pond in your backyard with a whole bunch of big, fat, delicious koi fish. You're kind of just serving them up on a platter for some hungry river otters to tear to shreds. And again, this is a story where a lot of people are listening. They don't see the video. The video that's shared in the story is actually disturbing because this woman from her back step has filmed these 2 cute little river otters just holding her koi fish and tearing them apart.
Yeah. Well, there's a different reason that I find this disturbing than that. And it's her reaction to the complete massacre and mangling of her beloved fish. She's laughing. She thinks it's hilarious. She's filming it like, oh my God, they're eating sushi. And like, this woman has no sympathy. She has no feelings whatsoever. This woman's a psychopath.
But she is saying, it is nature and nature's happening, and that's like cold comfort for her. So maybe that's how she's rationalizing it in her mind, but it isn't nature, because I don't know if like backyard koi ponds are a natural thing. Are koi fish even from Canada?
I don't know. They're too coy for us to really know what they're up to, but I think that her reaction is unhealthy. And I think that if I had fish in my backyard that I was caring for, and even if they were struck down by the laws of nature, I would still feel bad about them passing away and not being able to see them or enjoy them anymore, or just over the fact that their life, even if it ended naturally, has ended. And these were your fish. And this woman is so just nonchalant about it, laughing about it, filming it. You know, I just...
Maybe it's gallows humor, though.
I think she should be arrested. I think she should be locked up. I think she's unhinged. I think she's a threat to society.
Wow.
And
so you feel the perpetrator of this crime isn't so much the river otter, but maybe, well, actually, no. So you think the villain in this story maybe isn't the river otter, it is the koi fish pond owner.
Well, imagine, now this will be an extreme example, but imagine that you're walking your dog in a park or in a trail or something, and then your dog is mauled by another animal.
Okay, I really don't like this story,
coyotes. I know, but just imagine. Just put yourself in that situation. So that starts happening. What do? Do you take out your phone, film it, and laugh and be like, oh boy, that's just nature being nature. Oh man. Anyway, I'm going to call the news. Or do you, A, do something about it, B, feel awful, feel regret, feel just complete devastation over the loss of your pet? And I know that we don't get as close to fish as we do to cats or dogs or those types of domesticated animals. However, these are your fish that lost their lives. I do feel like this woman is some kind of an AI bot made by Elon Musk who is gone completely unhinged.
Yeah, I see your point. Yeah. I think, I don't know if I'm giving her a benefit of a doubt or if I'm maybe projecting myself in this position, but I feel like maybe the best way to deal with it would be to think like, it's just nature doing its thing. Although, again, me from the outside, I don't see it that way because I don't think those koi fish weren't in a natural position to be trapped in a little pond next to one of their predators. I think her running out and stopping the river otters, it was already too late. The river otters were holding parts of koi fish in their hands and mouths. So the damage, I think, was done at that point. It's I think that this is just a cautionary tale about a responsible way to manage backyard pets, be it koi fish or chickens or something. You got to keep them safe from their predators. If you have chickens, you're going to put them in a little little fenced in area so the neighborhood dog or cat doesn't go tear them to shreds. I think just like this backyard oasis koi pond, though, wouldn't be so relaxing if it was all fenced off and stuff.
Right. Yeah.
It's an ethical and moral dilemma, but it is an interesting story.
It is interesting, but I do find, there's a lot of circumstances there that, maybe she's not responsible for, but I do feel that her reaction of laughing and joking around about it, I find it to be a little weird and off-putting, and I think that she should be destroyed.
Oh my goodness. Speaking of weird and off-putting, and perhaps calling back to the earlier story about the whipped cream theft in Ontario and your theory surrounding that, we have a voicemail I want to go out on here. This comes from a listener named Shan. who is reflecting on a story we covered several weeks ago. We talked about the red car tire slashing spree, which led to follow-up voicemails about theories about red car drivers and what type of people they are, and if their insurance should be more, or if they should be pulled over more. We have yet another bit of opinion on people who drive red cars, coming from a listener named Shan. I just want to play this for you, and you let me know your thoughts on this.
Hi, this is Shan from Calgary, and I wanted to call in about the red car situation. Growing up, my grandmother used to tell my sisters and I that men who drove red cars were sexually frustrated. So you can add that to your red car theories.
So do red cars and their drivers, are they members of your dairy product stealing orgy cult?
I guess so.
I don't think they would be, because they wouldn't be sexually frustrated, I guess, if they're actively involved in the orgy cult.
Yeah, but maybe they just don't have enough butter and whipped cream to fulfill their orgy needs, and that is frustrating them. So then they're driving around in red cars
until they steal.
Until they find more butter.
In all seriousness, when you see someone in a red car, would you think like they're more or less likely to be sexually frustrated? Because I think where that maybe is coming from is this idea of like this like red sports car, and it's this like older guy who's trying to relive his youth and having a midlife crisis and buys like a red Ferrari or something like that. But I think in general, if you take 100 red cars or 1,000 red cars randomly from across Canada, I can't imagine they're more sexually frustrated than black, white, or yellow car drivers.
I wonder what the most sexually fulfilled color is.
That is an interesting question. If red is frustrated, red is not getting you where you want to be sexually. What color car is? I would like to think maybe a darker car.
Yeah, I guess maybe black, maybe what's the opposite of red? Is it white?
Green,
is it black?
or blue?
Is it green or blue? I'm not sure.
Green and blue would be, because they're the three like primary colors or whatever.
Right. So let's say blue is the most sexually fulfilled. I've never owned a blue car.
Well, you know what? You may be onto something though.
Oh wait, no, I have. I did own a blue car. My first car I ever bought was a blue Chevrolet Cavalier.
Okay.
So at that point in my life, I was completely sexually fulfilled.
I think when I think of blue cars, they're often not like sportsy or glammed up cars or anything. It's just like a typical family vehicle. Yeah, I think on average, I think blue is probably going to be the most sexually fulfilled color car.
I think it's official now. Yeah, I think it's official. We've figured that out. It is blue.
There. Well, I think we solved a few cases tonight. I don't want to keep going for fear that we just make a mistake tonight. We've done everything right. We've covered all the interesting news stories. In fact, we have even a few more on the back burner waiting for next week's episode. We got some big stuff right around the corner. We got some more mail that we didn't have a chance to air, so we got to get on a mailbag. We've done it all tonight. I think we won.
We did. We are winners.
Let's put a bow on this. Handsome Aaron Airport. Until next time.
Jordan, Bus Stop, Backhoe, Bonaparte. Until next time.
Let's think of some other interesting things, non-sexual, that can be done with dairy products, and let's do them together. Perhaps get nachos.
Oh, okay. So non-sexual things with butter and whipped cream.
Or any dairy product. Sour cream, I'm including.
Or any dairy product, and we'll have fun with that. Doing whatever that is.
I'm thinking nachos, bud.
Nachos? Okay.
Or a cheese dip.
What about a queso? Our friend Randy could maybe supply us with some Cape Breton queso.
Let me make a call right quick. One sec.
Hi, not available.
Oh. Busy. I was going to give him the chance to plug his company because it's like their 5th or 10th anniversary or something like that.
Yeah, I saw that on Instagram. So
I'm just going to give a sec in case he calls back.
That would be nice if he called back.
He never not answers. Like I can get him.
I was very surprised to see him not answer there. Yeah,
I'm actually worried. something could be
Well,
wrong.
he must be the person stealing the whipped cream and the butter, because
he goes through it.
If he's not answering the phone, that's the only explanation possible.
I want to thank you for helping Aaron and I fulfill our mission to keep Canada weird. Now, if any one of you listening want to get more involved in what we're doing, we need all the correspondence we can get. So if something weird happens in your area, or if you have any thoughts on anything we discussed tonight, let us know about it. The best way to reach us is by using the voice recorder that can be found at thecanadiangothic.com/contact. Now, I'm going to start wrapping up the episode, but before we part, let us thank a few people. First of all, Aaron and I want to give a big thank you to all the correspondents who contributed to this episode. If your voice message was aired on the show, go back to thecanadiangothic.com/contact and fill out the form to claim your swag pack and Keep Canada Weird badge. We'll happily get it right out to you. Next, a big shout out to Unicole for the intro and outro voiceovers, and Monty Data, who provides the outro version of O Canada that you're about to hear. And then lastly, but most importantly, we have a massive thank you to every one of you listening, as without your interest and your support, this work would be impossible. And for any one of you out there who want to support the show financially and get more out of the show at the same time, please consider the premium feed. Our premium feed subscription costs just a couple bucks a month, and that money will fund the creation of new episodes, but the premium feed will also give you those episodes early, give them to you ad-free, and give you access to a full back catalog of Keep Canada Weird episodes and bonuses. You can go premium at thecanadiangothic.com/subscribe. And even if the premium feed isn't for you, you can still support the show by simply sharing episodes on social media. That's free, and it's a big help. So until next time, take care of each other, hug your loved ones tight, and please keep Canada weird.
And keep Canada weird. Please keep Canada weird.
And now to our viewers and listeners everywhere. Good night.
I'm going to call our boy one more time. Hey, where have you been?
What do you mean?
I called earlier and there was no answer.
I was away from my phone for a moment.
Okay, I got to ask you something. We're live on the air here.
Oh, jeez.
Queso came up naturally in our conversation, Randy. Aaron and I were talking about like fun, non-sexual things we could do together involving cheese, and he suggested possibly getting some queso, and I thought like I should get Randy on the horn here because I know you got some big stuff coming up with your cheese company, Cape Breton Queso. Anything you want to plug?
Yeah, actually, this weekend we're doing our 5th anniversary pop-up. So, got some great deals coming up, $5 quesos. So, yeah, it should be good.
And it's 5th anniversary. You've been doing Cape Breton Queso, where you make all different types of quesos, which are cheese dips, selling them, and you've been doing this 5 years. Congratulations.
Oh, thanks, man. It's my life's work. It's a big recipe.
A lot of orders coming through?
Oh, yeah, man. It's I've had 100 orders.
Oh.
It's crazy. Wow. So, yeah, I'm going to be making them all Saturday and selling them Sunday. So, everyone who wants to check it out can do it. Cape Breton Queso on Facebook and Instagram.
What's the biggest seller so far of these 100 orders? What flavor or type are people coming for you?
People love that Buffalo Blue, right? It's that blue cheese and cayenne pepper. Kind of a nice, flavor, if you will.
What do we dip in that?
Tortillas or pork rinds. Oh, the best is actually chicken nuggets or chicken wings into the Buffalo Blue, right? It is very, very good.
Okay, you're making me hungry. I'm going to go to Facebook or Instagram and find Cape Breton Queso, and I'll buy some tonight.
Yeah, thanks. I'll have some ready for you.